That is really surprising. I didn't know there was any area of life that wasn't governed at this point in time.
Welcome to the wild, wild west, my friend.
It's the new digital frontier, I think we could say perhaps.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's so interesting that you point out the social cues that are there, right? What time do we go to work? How long is lunch? What time do we wrap it up? If you're starting a new company or at a new company and you're an employee, you don't know when to turn off your computer and be done from that perspective, which can also not only lead to like overdoing it or underdoing it in some cases, but also burnout. Do you
Yeah.
have any suggestions? Because there's a lot of concern about the social connection for kids, for example. People ask when they're doing
Mhm.
remote learning, social. Well, the same concerns exist in the remote world. Is there a higher risk for burnout? Is it the same? And also, where does that social component come in?
Yeah, that's a very, very good question. Most managers are very concerned and very afraid that nobody will be working if they can't see them. The irony of that fear is that on average, remote workers work 2 to 4 hours a day more than they did in the office. So it is very, very significant increase in productivity. And that creates its own set of problems that the managers say, well, great, keep it going, work harder. And so they continue to push this unspoken pressure on the employees that you have to be working all the time in order to keep up this productivity or increase this level of productivity, or to just prove that you actually are working. And so it becomes a very, very dangerous territory. Burnout is by far the largest problem for remote workers, and because of a lot of reasons. That one is this unspoken pressure from managers to prove that they're working. Another is just the fact that they are working more, both in quantity and in quality. They're working deeper, they're working harder, they're working longer, and they're just wearing out. But then, even in addition to that, psychologically, we used to have a very large buffer zone between work and life. It was an hour and a half, 2 hours between waking up and getting to work. And we had all of these psychological rituals that would help our brain slowly ramp up into work mode, like getting dressed and stopping for breakfast and driving in the car and going up the elevator. Like all of those things help tell our brain one small step at a time, it's time to get ready to work. And then we had the same decompression cycle at the end of the day to say, okay, now it's time to get ready to go home. And there was a very clear line between work and life. And yeah, sometimes you thought about work at home and vice versa, but overall, it was a pretty strong line. Now we are toggling like crazy, thousands of times an hour. We're going from work to life to work to life to work to life. We're on a meeting and our kid comes in and asks for lunch, and then the dog barks, and we're still delivering this report all at the same time. And it's mentally exhausting for us. So, yeah, in the amount of work that we're doing, in the psychological Olympics that we're in all day, it's very, very high risk for remote workers alone. Then when you add to that the social burnout that's adding, just that all of us are going through because of the pandemic and the economy and environmental sustainability, social injustice, like all of these things are weighing on our minds and hearts constantly. Burnout isn't just a risk, it's an inevitability for all of us.